Welcome back. Although the election for 2012 isn't even over yet, some are already looking ahead to 2013. Among them, people who are lining up to replace New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Earlier today, we spoke with one of the early frontrunners in that race, former New York City Controller Bill Thompson. Let's talk now about the race for New York City mayor. Last time around, the entire political establishment didn't give you a shot against Mayor Michael Bloomberg. He outspent you. Even the top Democrat in the White House, President Obama, flirted with Bloomberg. And yet, you barely lost by only 5 percentage points. Now, Bill Thompson, just between you and I, just between us tonight, does it bother you that the Democratic establishment this time around looks at City Council Speaker Christine Quinn as the front runner and not you?
Absolutely not. I think that, it's not a question of how the establishment or how anyone looks at any other candidate. It's a question of how the people of New York City look at my candidacy and look at me. And I'm very comfortable with that. So no, I'm not concerned about how the establishment, whoever that may be, looks at any candidate. I'm concerned and I believe in the people of New York City and how they're viewing and will continue to view my candidacy.
Mr. Thompson, is there any possibility you won't run this time around for mayor? And how is the contest for mayor going to be different than the last time?
Well, I think that in a number of ways, it's going to be very different. First, I'm definitely running. So it's not a question of will I not run. I am definitely running to be the next mayor of the city of New York. And I believe I will be the next mayor of the city of New York. Second, I think that, spending alone, I ran against somebody who outspent me 14-1, who spent about $120 million to the $9 million that I spent. This time, the playing field is level. We're all going to spend a little more than $6 million, and that's with the matchables included. So the playing field is very different. Also, it's an open seat, and I think New Yorkers are going to be focused on the future of New York City, on who presents a vision, who talks about education and job creation, who focuses on public safety and making sure that crime stays down. All of those things, it's about the future of New York City and what direction we're going to go in.
Well, what do you say to those that claim Christine Quinn's experience makes her better qualified to be mayor than you, Bill Thompson?
It's not a question of me being compared to anyone else. I think that my background in the private and public sector, my background in government, my background as president of the New York City Board of Education, as the chief financial officer for the city of New York, as controller, city's second highest citywide elected position. My background, my combination of skills and the things that I've done over the years to bring people together of all backgrounds, I think it makes me the best qualified person to be the next mayor of the city of New York. So it's not a question of compared to other people. It's not my credentials against somebody else's. I believe my credentials stand on their own.
Has Christine Quinn been a good leader for the city council?
You know something, you're going to have to ask whether it's the members of the city council or the people of New York City. Dominic, I'm not going to get into that. It's a question of, something. It's not any of the other candidate. It's my background and my experience and a vision for the future of New York City.
I'll try just one last time before I move on. Has Christine Quinn...
never give up, Dominic.
I never give up. You know that. Has she been too close, as some have argued, to Mayor Michael Bloomberg?
Look, I think that the people of the city are going to have to look at the jobs. It's not, when I was controller, I stood up and redefined that office, made it a different office, an office that fought for the people of New York City. 2009, I stood up and ran against Mike Bloomberg because I believed that this city was going in the wrong direction then, and we needed to go in a different direction. 2013, things are different. It isn't about 2009. It's about a city still moving, in some ways, in the wrong direction and looking to build on what's occurred in the past as well as move in a different direction. That's what I'm going to be talking about. 2013, a New York City that needs to have a mayor that stands up and fights for everybody in this city.
If Congressman Anthony Weiner decides to run for mayor, would you consider him a credible threat?
Well, I think that Congressman Weiner has the money in the bank. But again, we're back into it. There are going to be I'm not sure how many candidates, 4, 5, 6 candidates who are going to be running. Each person is going to have to stand on their own. I'm not sure if he is. It's a question of what direction is he going to go into and how's he reaching out to the people of this city.
Would his fall from grace be fair game if he became a candidate for mayor?
Well, as you said, the one thing I've learned is that everybody, the job that you've done in the job that I've done at the Board of Education as its president, the job that I did as comptroller of the city of New York, fighting for the people of New York City, the job I did as deputy borough president of Brooklyn. Everything gets looked at because that helps to determine the job that you can do, as mayor of the city of New York. So I'm sure whether it is the congressman or everyone else, their background, their accomplishments, the work that they've done, all that is going to be reviewed by the people of New York City. The one thing you know, Dominic, and I'm sorry, the press people in New York, yourself included, are going to be looking at everything that everybody's done. I had that happen in 2009. That will happen in 2013 also. Everything any of us have done in any point in our lives will wind up, you'll get to read about it or see it on television in 2013.
Mr. Thompson, I only have a little bit of time left, but let's talk about the current mayor of New York. Overall, Michael Bloomberg, 3 terms as mayor. Has he been, looking at his entire tenure, a good mayor for the city of New York?
You know, I think that the first thing I think we'd say is it probably is 1 term too many. And when I say that, it's just I still believe that 2 terms, and we've gone back to 2 terms again. 2 terms is what the people of New York City said we should serve, and it's something I still believe in, then as well as now. But I think in a number of ways the mayor has done a good job. There are things that we disagree about and direction in some ways that we've disagreed. But I think overall, Mike Bloomberg has done a good job for the city of New York.
Let's talk crime for a moment. His poll numbers are sky high. Would you keep Ray Kelly as police commissioner as the city of New York?
Well, I think I've been clear in saying in the past, and it doesn't focus on Ray Kelly or others. I've been asked about Ray Kelly or Dennis Walcott or other people. I think it's important that the next mayor bring their own team to the table to implement, and I'd want to bring my own team to the table to implement my vision going forward. I think New Yorkers would expect that. So it's not a question of Ray Kelly or any other person. I'm looking to bring my own team, a new team, to the table to help move New York City forward and implement the vision that I'm going to put forward for the city of New York. So, you know, it doesn't revolve around any one individual. It's about all of them and moving, you know, and bringing my own team to the table.
Would you keep the controversial practice of stop and frisk?
Look, I think stop and frisk is a useful and valuable police tool that has been misused and abused. I think anytime you have close to 800,000 stop and frisks in the city of New York, and people are being stopped primarily because of what they look like and who they are, then there's something wrong. Stop and frisk as a police tool, when used correctly, makes sense. So it's a question where a police officer has reasonable suspicion. That's when it's supposed to be used. Not pulling over or not stopping, 10 kids today, and most of those young people have been Black and Hispanic, and they're being stopped because of where they're at and who they are. I think it's using stop and frisk correctly, the way it was devised, and it's not being done that way right now. So I have been vocal in saying a few things. Number one, you can be pro-police and still say that stop and frisk, the way it's being used, is being misused right now. I've called for adding police officers on the street, bringing the complement up to around 37,000. I think that makes sense. I think that would help push crime down. Times have changed, and as we've looked, you have to evolve with those, with those changing times. So I believe we need to add police officers, and I believe that we need to use stop and frisk correctly.
Okay, let's put Anthony Weiner aside for a moment. We'll come back to that if time permits. Frank Morano, who is the front runner in the race for mayor?
I think Christine Quinn is the front runner, and I think that's actually a very dangerous place for her to be, because she has a target on the size of her back, the size of City Hall, and that means she's going to have 5 people gunning for her, and there's a lot to aim for, because you have someone who shepherded the overturning of term limits over the twice stated will of the voters. You have someone who presided over the slush fund scandal. You have someone in Christine Quinn who we don't know what her her position is on a living wage. We don't know what her position is on stop and frisk. We don't know what her position is on any fundamental issue other than gay marriage. And I think Bill Thompson, folks really do underestimate him at his own peril. The one thing that we're missing in this race, I think, is the thing that Weiner brought to the race in 2005, which is ideas. No one's really coming forward and saying, this is what would make New York City a better place. Who's doing that? Who's offering real solutions?
Brad, who is the front runner?
Yeah, I think it's Bill de Blasio because of labor is really, well positioned behind him. He staked out the far left position, Bill did, and he's in the
But you think Labor will go with Bill de Blasio over Bill Thompson?
Yes, no question about it. There's a lot of issues that he's taken that has been foursquare behind Labor. And he's also, as a public advocate, he's had the opportunity, and he continues to have the opportunity to have a place to make his positions known without any negatives. So it's really hard to become disliked.
But policy-wise, what has he done as public advocate, and how would New York City have been different if the public advocate's office was abolished 4 years ago? What's one thing he's done?
Yeah, look, the public advocate, that question could be posed to any public advocate at any point in time in our history, and that's the thing is, but he's definitely a pro-labor guy. He's well known for that, and it's not a matter of what you get out into the public because when you have a machine like Labor behind you, it's what goes on behind the scenes that wins elections for you.
Yeah, he has very close ties with the Working Families Party, but to both of your points, I think that it's way too soon to be saying, who the eventual nominee is going to be. The politics, a day is like a lifetime, so we have a long ways to go.
I've got to take a break, but Jessica, are you surprised that Bill Thompson would admit this early out, that if Anthony Weiner ran, that anything in his past is fair game?
No, I'm not surprised at that at all. Why wouldn't it be?
I would think that candidates would duck and bob and weave on that one.
I don't think so. And again, we talked about the Weiner scandal before, but there's no reason for anyone to be, trying to cover for him now to come out. They want to kill him right away because his entry into the race with his $4 million is going to pose a threat to them. So
I'm a boxer. I'm ducking, bobbing, and weaving, but there's going to be a lot of hooks, haymakers, and jabs thrown, and that's for sure.
For better or worse, when you run for office in New York City and for citywide office, everything is fair game in your past, good, bad, and ugly.
You could say that again. Before we break here, Jessica, you're the Republican at the table. Anybody on the Republican side? We've seen the Republicans flirting with African-American Malcolm Smith. I wanted to ask Bill about that, but we ran out of time. Is he a legitimate candidate for mayor?
I don't think so. I think this is just a lot of, media attention that's going to go away. But I think that there is a definite need and a desire from folks like in the business community and people that are really concerned about where the city's going to go in terms of crime, and they are going to be looking to an alternative to the Democratic side, so we'll wait to see who emerges.
Okay, well, time to switch gear.